Nice, you're on 90s Plus. I'm meteorologist Chris Bianchi, and you might remember a couple of days ago that we were chatting about the potential for some maybe significant mountain snow and maybe even some snow for us here along the Front Range for next week. Let's just say that the Front Range snow, that is not going to happen, and maybe we get a bit of snow up into the mountains. Our storm system that we thought, or that was kind of looking like it could drop down here into the Front Range for next week, it's going to be too far north to really give us much in the way of any significant impacts, though we still do expect a fairly hefty cool down and, again, the potential for at least some mountain snowfall. So again, system that we were talking about on back on Wednesday, looks like that system is going to stay just too far north to really give us much in the way of substantial impacts. If it had pushed a little further south, we would have had a pretty good chance at seeing some measurable snow in the Denver area. But again, it's just going to be too far north for any of that. So some mountain snow looks likely, but maybe a few inches at the highest elevations. That's about it. I'll show you that in detail in just a second. So once again, here's that storm system, but notice where that low is. This is for next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we're talking about kind of October the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th in that time window. And that system stays just too far north to really give us much of those impacts. The computer modeling earlier on the week, and it was in fairly decent agreement, was hinting that the system would be much further south into Colorado, Utah, New Mexico. And that's what kind of prompted maybe some of those fantasy snow maps that were floating around the internet, and why I kind of felt like we had to address it. But as always, there's always a chance that these systems just miss us entirely, and that's what's going to be the case with this system. We do get kind of grazed by it, and that will lead to a bit of a cool down, maybe a bit of snow, but that's pretty much all she probably will write with this one. So that said, another thing to keep in mind, even though we're not going to get a whole lot of the system, it's still worth blowing out your sprinklers now, because our average first freeze is today. It's on October the 7th. Last year, our first freeze was on October the 13th. We don't have, I don't think we're going to get down to 32 next week. We could get kind of close, maybe upper 30s, but I don't think we're going to quite get down into that 32-degree threshold, but probably worth a reminder, this is the time of year that we do expect those temperatures to get down around freezing. So again, get some of those winter preparedness things done now while we get the nice weather and while it's still warm, and while maybe maybe it might not be as urgent, and maybe lawn care specialists might not be as needed right now or not as busy. Probably a good time to do it now. And then that average first snow date, measurable snowfall, it's on October the 18th in Denver. Of course, last year might have us thinking it's a little later in the year. Last year was by far the latest first measurable snow on record here in Denver. It was on December the 10th of 2021. Now, in terms of that snow forecast, is for next week. Again, maybe a bit of snow along and north of I-70, where it could pick up a slushy inch or two at or above maybe 10,000 feet, 10,000 feet in elevation, but most of us probably going to stay snow-free, even in the mountains, certainly as you get into the southern mountains. 7-day forecast for us here in Denver, and we were talking about that freeze potential. Well, 7-day forecast, we don't have a whole lot of winter weather which to speak of. Again, because we get grazed by that system, wouldn't be surprised if Wednesday, Thursday we do drop down into the upper 30s. And if it does maybe trend a tick further south of what we're thinking right now, we could drop down into maybe the mid-30s, maybe get a frost advisory in place. I think somebody here in eastern Colorado will probably be talking about a frost advisory for the middle to end part of next week. So we're getting close. We're not quite probably going to get down to that 32-degree marker for the middle to end part of next week. So not quite there, but maybe just a reminder that we're getting closer and closer to that first freeze and that first measurable snowfall, even though this next storm system doesn't look like it's going to bring either of those things. Again, just as a reminder, and by the way, today, of course, fairly cool day. Today, our low temperature in Denver got down to 38 degrees, making it our coolest day since May the 21st, our coolest day in 139 days. So, I mean, again, it's early mid-October, so this happens. This is the time of year it happens, but just worth a reminder that for those of you that especially might be new to town, that this is the time of year we expect to start getting down to those temperatures to 32 or below. And this is typical stuff, but it does look like, just want to address the fact that we talked about that storm system back on Wednesday. It doesn't look like that is going to really significantly impact us here in Colorado. It'll stay too far to our north.